after you complete the canyon layer, which is also known as sublayer 300, you'll arrive in a location called the Divide, which has 2 pathways. Are there consequences for which one you pick? Which pathway should you go first? And what happens after you complete the layer? In this video, we'll be going over exactly that, and I'll also be sharing something that breaks the game. Okay, so you landed in sublayer 400. On the left is the icy path, and on the right is the forest path. If you decide to go left, you'll find yourself in sublayer 500, also known as the freezer layer. Now, sublayer 500 has a terrain strength of level 3, and if you want to know what the gear items revolve around, it's basically around Donkey Kong pants that reduces damage from ice water, Pauline's outfits that basically extend Zebra Bonanza form, and a Digit neckerchief that restores Bananargy as you destroy terrain. So if any of those sound interesting to you, then maybe you might want to consider it, especially the one where you just break regular materials and it gives you Bananargy instead of gold. That might be pretty good. You also get access to 2 colored furs here, sour berry blue fur and the cotton candy pink fur. So more options if this is something that you may be considering. Now, what you need to know about the sublayer is that it's actually more dangerous than the other pathway because this one has freezing water that melts your health away over time and lava that just literally rips through your health. I mean, when you hit lava, you'll just lose all your hearts, and if you have an apple juice, it immediately kicks in, and if you're still stuck in the lava, then it's just gonna trigger all the way down until you're dead. Now, the big benefit of this sublayer is that you get access to the Zebra Bonanza form, which allows you to run on delicate pathways, you go extremely fast running, and it also allows you to walk on water, which is pretty nice. Now, in order to do this on this layer, you have to grab broken pieces of an ancient record, and one of those ancient record pieces are located close to lava, and you get burned a lot of times along the way unless you're a really good, 3D platformer and you can avoid all that. Now let's move on. Once you complete this layer, you'll then land in a location known as the Junction, which is also a divided area. However, you'll notice that you are on one side and across from you, there is a whole nother different area. So in this area, once you arrive, you break down a void structure and it'll clear off all the void coast stuff in the entire floor, and you'll see that, oh, it's a nice snowy area, which means the other side must be where you come down from the forest layer. Now, in order to proceed further in the game, you also have to clear that side that's across from you once you reach the center platform in order to push forward. However, there is a trick that I figured out on my own for you to proceed without having to do the opposite layer, but we'll get into that after. You can use the warp gong to go back to the divide, or you can actually use the gong while you're in the middle of the freezing layer because it also has a warp gong to head back to the junction to approach the other side, and you could literally do this without having to even beat the freezing layer because that's what warp gongs do. They let you go back to different layers that you previously visited. Now, what's funny is I actually placed a hard save at the divide point right away at the start because I wasn't sure what to expect when I first did it, but luckily you don't have to worry because you're watching this video and you're subscribed with notifications on. And you'll make the exact decision based off what we're talking about now, because if you take the right pathway and break the void coast structure in the forest area, you'll fall down into, well, the forest layer, also known as SL600, which is also terrain strength level 3. The items in this sublayer revolve around Donkey Kong pants that reduce damage from poison water, Pauline outfits that extend ostrich bonanza time, a battle bow tie that restores Bananargy as you defeat enemies. Personally, I think that the Digit neckerchief from the freeze layer is a lot better because it's actually restoring Bananargy based on destroying terrain, and there's always terrain everywhere. You also get 2 furs here, the Dusty Grape fur and the Dusty Olive fur. Now, the dangerous parts of this sublayer is basically going to be the poison water, which chip away at your health over time, red spiky thorns, which some enemies also have this wrapped around them, and there's these really annoying centipede enemies that will constantly respawn and chase you around. This layer contains the Ostrich Elder, who has you pick up broken pieces of their ancient record as well, and then you'll unlock the Ostrich Bonanza form here. Now, this Bonanza form is actually beneficial because it allows you to glide and fly over to different places. And honestly, it would actually be more useful in the freezer layer as opposed to the zebra form, which doesn't have any benefits in this layer. So maybe based on that, you might want to do the ostrich one first. Now, when you complete this layer, you'll fall down in the junction area on the right side, and then you'll break a void coast structure, which will reveal the forest area that you're in, and then you'll proceed to the middle, which will allow you to go further deep in the sublayers after doing some boss fights. But we're not talking about that since that's all spoiler stuff. Now, I need to be honest. In my playthrough, I actually skipped the forest completely for a very long time until I reached close to the end of the game because I found a way to bypass having to do the forest sublayer completely, and I'll explain it. But Donkey Kong Bananza is built in a really interesting way where there are ways to completely skip certain areas in the game. For example, on X, this user posted an entire skip to the bottom layer of the canyon, which is kind of crazy that they bypassed that area. Now, after I completed the freeze layer, I then arrived at the junction, broke the void code structure, and then I realized to go forward, I had to do the forest layer and was feeling a bit lazy. So I went to test the physics system in the game specifically. I knew that soft terrain like snow, dirt, mud, or sand all stick to each other, and I wanted to see if it was actually possible to completely cross this really huge gap between the area I was in, and if you see in my gameplay, the area that was all the way across. So I enabled the co-op feature in my game and used my Joy-Cons to copy the snow and started to build a bridge that led me all the way up and all the way across. Now, the trick for this was moving to the edge and dropping a Pauline terrain copy right there and then using all of the terrain copies, and when it ran out, just repeated it again. And I did this until I reached the other side, which I did not think was going to happen. So once I did that, I broke the void code structure on that side and I was able to proceed without even having to touch the forest layer. But here's what's even crazier. After proceeding further in the game, I eventually came back to do the forest level later and found out there was no boss there anymore at all. So I just dropped down from the forest layer to the junction and my Bananium gems were there for free. So really cool stuff this game has. So comment and let me know which direction you'll be taking in the divide and if you found any cool uses of the physics system like I did to bypass certain areas. So subscribe, turn on notifications, and check out this Donkey Kong Bananza video right over here.